And before that, we studied about the architecture. Okay, and we were practicing some of the topics which were asked in the certification. Coming to the next thing, guys, here, um, the data frame API. Today, what I will do is just I'll introduce you how to create the data frame with various aspects, maybe with a list, with a dictionary, with RDD, and with struct type. With the struct type like that, we'll be having some sort of the understanding related to the data frame API. But this is the basis, guys, actually. Apart from these kind of the conventions, we are having other zoners also, like creation of the data frame. And moreover, I'll be showing you how we create the data frame with respect to the pandas. Pandas also containing some sort of the data frame. I'll let you know what exactly the distinction between data frame of the pandas and data frame of the Spark. Now, once this thing is over, we'll talk some kind of the Databricks questions, which is again a revision process for us. And after the break, however, though our friends Sahu, Vedant, and Elias, they are going to talk about the topics which allocated to them. Okay. And today I'm going to announce some more members, guys. Okay, those guys and those members also need to prepare. So from Monday onwards, just these new set of the people are going to present the things. Okay, this is the idea. This is the second objective. And the third objective, however, presentation by Sahu, Vedant, and Elias. Okay, so and then I'll announce the members by the end of the session, and along with the topics also, so that you can prepare well. Okay, from Monday onwards, again the cycle follows. Okay, I'll announce Monday, Tuesday members, and on Monday probably I'll announce Wednesday, Thursday members, so that you also get some time to prepare and present. Okay, and I hope don't skip these things. I'm expecting you to participate, but because it is a mandatory thing as a part of the evaluation, I will be giving some assessment. Okay, so apart from because this is one of the component in the evaluation process, as I said. Okay, now just we have seen some aspects related to the data frames, guys. Let me pull what exactly our discussion related to the data frame, though we have seen earlier, but still this particular thing is having that worth. Okay, worth revisiting. Now, just if you see, and in the earlier session also, Shanmuga has given the distinction between RDD and data frame kind of thing, which is not having the schema in terms of RDD. And your data frame is most flexible entry, where it is providing us some row and column-wise fashions of the data. You see here, a distributed collection of data grouped into named columns. Named columns. Okay, like rather than column one, column two, just I can say name of the person or qualification like that. So which is more meaningful. If I'm not giving any name to the column, it is very difficult to introspect or identify that particular column information based on the data. Okay, because sometimes that may be the that might be the experience or that might be the age. If you are not giving the clear indication what exactly that column is, we may be having some ambiguity to identify that. So in terms of the data frame, the first important aspect is detailed information and grouping of the columns related to the data frame. And the data frame is equivalent to the relational table in Spark SQL, and which is similar to your database table and can be created using various functions in Spark session. Okay, that is one more important thing. And you can manually create the PySpark data frame using 2DF. And friends, here one more option with the 2DF also, we can create the data frame. With the 2DF also, we can create the data frame, like and create data frame method. Both these function takes different arguments. Either I can create from the existing RTD or from the list. And from the existing data frame also, we can able to create data frame in the sense here in our current session, we were talking about the pandas data frame. And from the dictionary, I can create, okay, all the possible ways. And we can also create PySpark data frame from data sources like text, CSV, JSON, ORV, Avro, Parquet, XML, all these formats. And probably tomorrow we'll see the loading process in the text file, JSON specification, and most importantly, Parquet. Long back, our friend Surendra, it seems, he asked about the default method or default file format. Very interesting, guys. Parquet, just we're having the flexibility as a columnar, and which is having the encryption technique, which is more secured when compared with other kind of the models. I'll try to give those kind of the conventions also. And suppose if I'm working with Cloudera based kind of the models, which is on top of this AWS. Okay, so now Cloudera and Hortonworks same. They are merged 2015 around. Now the formats, actually maybe I can pick up the data from HDFS mode or else Amazon. Okay, or else however we are seeing this DBFS. Okay, Databricks file system like that. So obviously these things are pretty simple, guys. We need not worry about that. Only the thing is we have to see the path actually. In the Databricks community edition, we confine to this model DBFS colon file store and then tables. Just what we are giving the appropriate name of the corresponding file. But whereas if you are talking about some sort of Hadoop distributed file system, um, as I said earlier, guys, maybe your cluster is having both HDFS and LFS. Okay, so always local file system. Okay, your local file system of the cluster start with the slash home and the slash whatever the file you want, file.txt. Whereas your Hadoop distributed file system, okay, so just it is started with user start with, and then you can give whatever the folder project and file1.txt, something like that. So except this differentiation, okay, like only in case of the DBFS, we are mentioning like this DBFS colon of the path of the file. Whereas in case of the local file system, we are talking about the slash home something. Whereas in case of the Hadoop distributed file system, we were talking about these kind of the conventions. Okay, so that is the idea. So here, except the path distinction, and that too, there is a common mechanism to specify the path. We need not bother about those kind of the things. So the observations here is your data frame is similar to the SQL table. That is the first observation. Second thing is it is gives the column names so as to easily identify the corresponding thing. And there is one more important thing I'll show you in the creation, which is the schema. In terms of the databases, friends, we know that schema is a logical I mean this overall design of the database. Okay, so just to, if you are considering the data dictionary or indexing or whichever the means, just we can manage that kind of the convention, schema orientation. Okay. Apart from that convention, the creation, okay, just up to these points we'll try to cover today. Apart from those things, guys, I want to project some other aspects related to the data frame. Just have a look on this. So which is really helping us to observe as a simple kind of the orientation, how I can deal the various aspects related to the data frame. So one important point, guys, if you consider the RTD, RDD is closely tagged with the Spark context. So that is the reason even while creating the data frame also dependent on the RDD, definitely we need to depend on the Spark context. That thing is important. Okay. And moreover, one thing, friends, before this thing, let me start the cluster. Otherwise, we have to wait. Just I'll start the cluster and okay. Meantime, so now what is this particular creation of the data frame and all? There are certain possibilities, guys, where I can create my data frame with respect to existing RDD or existing data frame or from the list. Like that, we are having various possibilities. So now the understanding here is, guys, how flexible the data frame is, because simply we are having the notion of RDD, but later they realized that RDD is not providing the schema orientation. It's not giving any information about the design of the data. Uh, in that case, friends, just we need to work on that particular design of the schema, and we have to notify the programmers or developers with the full knowledge about the data. Because in terms of research or in terms of the development, many people would be working on the same project. So in that particular case, there should be a common mechanism where there should be a common, whatever the data I am using, that should be, there should be a common standard. Why we need to follow the common standard is to reach to the many members, starting from the layman up to the expert. If I am following the standard, then I need not explicitly explain the things. If I'm specific, and then I should explain to everybody. So in the discussion of the data frame also, what they felt is, as many members are working on top of this particular data, information sharing and as well as the knowledge base maintenance is most important, and that is in fact the key success factor behind any kind of the technology. So data frame is a revised version of the RDD. On top of the RDD only, data frame has been built. Now the point here is they embedded this particular data frame with respect to the Spark session. So at the moment I'm saying Spark session, then with respect to Spark session, we are having the create data frame with RDD, create data frame with list, create data frame with row and as well as the columns, and create data frame with list and as well as the schema. Okay, in all these things, guys, the method is same, but only the arguments we are changing. Maybe sometimes I'm using RDD, sometimes I'm using the list. Maybe dictionary we have not mentioned, but dictionary I can give. And there is a concept called row. Okay, so this particular row also we are going to talk. Likewise, there are certain possibilities where I can create my data frame with this. Apart from these kind of the conventions, as I said earlier, there is a file extension, CSV, text, Avro, and Parquet, and JSON, like that, all these kind of the convention. This is also pretty simple technique, guys. Like I can store the data, I can write something, and I can get data back in terms of reading. All these conventions we'll see in the next session. Okay, so it's not only the object based like RDD, list and all, but also we are having some other functionality based on the extension of the files. Now coming to the RDD base. RDD base, we are having 2DF and 2DF with multiple columns. And in data frame itself, we are having the 2DF kind of the support. We'll talk about that. Okay. So this is how you can see the understanding of the data frame and all the specifications related to the data frame. And Parquet and all, I will be talking about those things in a while. But before that, just I want to give some kind of the insight of which are all the operations we have completed so far. And there is a distinction actually. Like in the operations, guys, we have seen transformations and as well as the actions. So this particular table is quite handy, guys, whenever you feel. So just open this particular table and you can see, oh, these are all the transformations and these are all the actions like that. Okay. Now coming to the actions. Okay, to perform the display kind of thing, already we have seen take, collect. And first, if I want to pick up only the first part of first record and take sample from the available population, I want to take the sample and take ordered. Okay, some sort of the sorting and all. Aggregation reduce we have seen, and count also we have seen. And file extraction, if you remember guys, we have seen this save as a sequence file, save as text file, and you can save that file as a object file also. For each also latest we have seen. So while working with the filter, just we observed this particular for each. Okay, a few aspects yet to cover. So definitely we'll see along with the data frame, because the data frame is more flexible when compared with the RDD. So all these kind of the action and above and beyond also we are going to see many kind of the actions. Now, if you consider the transformations, generally guys, transformations are more in number. Reason is so like if you consider the current state of the person, the current state of the person dependent on the so many transformations, like maybe his studies, his attitude, and the challenges he faced, family situation, friends, like that. There are certain aspects, his hardworking nature, all these things. So the current state of the person definitely backed by many transformings. Okay, he should transform and become a legendary kind of personality. Now, if you consider that activities are more, na? So though we are seeing a person as the current state, but to reach that particular state, definitely he would have spent a lot of time, and you would have learned so many things through the circle, right? So similarly, actions are the uh, combination of these transformations, but only the distinction is a trigger, immediate triggering of the actions. Whereas if you consider these things as you know, many times we have seen, this is the lazy evaluation, all the transformations. And for that, related to the partition, we are having coalesce. So coalesce is something like which I want to reduce the number of partitions without any full shuffle. Okay, so that is the understanding. And of course, coalesce definitely helps us to increase the number of partitions, but provided that is based on the shuffle. A repartition, to increase or decrease the number of partitions, I can use the repartition. Repartition, the main problem with the repartition is it is applying the shuffle operation. Repartition and sort within the partition. This is also one of the transformation guys, like where I want to repartition and sort the appropriate things. Sometimes maybe I'm having partition 1, 2, 3 like that, and within the partition itself I want to sort out the data. Just I want to maintain this kind of the convention. Okay, so I can go and make use of these things. But if I'm not specifying the sorting of the partition, it is just giving the portion of the data. Can someone give me, suppose I have partitioned the data into 10. Okay, and with respect to the repartition, how do I get the number of allocations of each partition? That means P1, P2, and so on. You can use the chat window, guys. What is the process to pick up? What is the process to pick up number of partitions, number of records present in each partition? Hmm? What is the option for that? Okay, see, just we are giving that glom dot map of length dot collection. Oh, hope you guys remember this thing. Many a times we have seen. So in terms of the coalesce, the data is imbalanced, whereas in terms of um, repartition, it is fully balanced. So suppose if I'm having 5,000 records related to 10 partitions, more or less 490 to 500, you can see in each partition. But coalesce is highly imbalanced kind of thing. It's not going to handle the balancing nature of the corresponding data set. Okay. Now pipe. So just the pipeline kind of aspects we'll see. Sampling of the data. As I said earlier, All these things we'll see guys in the coming lectures. Okay. So sampling, picking up of the some sample data rather than using, because the sampling is more helpful to our machine learning engineers. Okay. And set functionalities are there where union, intersect, distinct and subtract, all these kind of the conventions. Key based aspects are many key based aspects are there, friends, like count by key, group by key, aggregate by key, reduce by key, and as well as the sort by key. Likewise, majority of the big data cases are dependent on the key value pair. Now, based on this particular key, if I want to perform some sort of the action, okay, maybe applicability of some aggregation or grouping of the records or counting of the records or sorting of the records, all those kind of the conventions can be achieved with respect to these key based aggregations. And join operation, which is of course very required, especially in the Spark SQL kind of thing, the same group by, join, order by, again we're having all these things, friends. Okay, so all the Spark SQL kind of things we are going to talk, like Cartesian product, co-grouping of the corresponding elements, join operation and all. And of course your row level transformations like map we have seen, flat map, filter, all these kind of the conventions, like along with the map values. So these are all just I'm suggesting you guys just have a look on this, because in the coming lectures we are going to see much more transformations and actions, so that if you are by just observing that particular, or by just seeing the description, or by understanding the way how they are performing, definitely you need to be in a position to observe whether this is a transformation or action. Sometimes, in the earlier session also we have seen, which is always a narrow transformation, select. Like that, they may ask us whether this belongs to a transformation or action. Because sometimes, we feel that reduce may be the transformation. Because reduce by key is the transformation, but reduce is not the transformation, it is the action. Okay, so just be cautious with those kind of the things, guys. So definitely in the practice, you will be reaching to understanding of those kind of the things. Don't worry. Now, what we are doing here is just let me see whether our cluster is ready, so that we can start with the understanding of the data frame today up to some extent. Yes, our cluster is ready, friends. So we can have a look on that. If you are referencing, uh, okay, I have created the cluster, and let me create a new notebook. This is session 6, DF1. Okay, so that you can also get the things in the simplest way. Okay, without introspecting much. Meaningful names are always best practice, guys, no matter. Starting from the C programming language up to the machine learning practice, that is a de facto standard, right? Now, the as usual, to check the functionality of the cluster, just I'm habituated to use these objects, Spark and Spark context. Otherwise, we need to create some explicit thing. If it is the Jupyter hub or something, that importing of the statements. Okay, just we need to import and perform. Now, friends, what I'm doing here is uh, just we are taking the Python list, and I want to create a data frame from the list. And the Python programmers pretty know that list is a data structure. Okay, so where this particular list is supporting the heterogeneous kind of the data. Uh, the list can be defined with bigger brackets, like, just I am taking the list and I am making use of the convention. And here I want to give some kind of the data, and a kill with the experience of 3. That is one record kind of the thing. And Elias, and with the experience of 4. Okay, so just a small list I have taken, and just if I'm making use of this particular LST, I can see that the list kind of the thing. These are all the data structures, friends: list, set, tuple, and as well as the dictionary. So these data structures help the user to construct some kind of the input data, and from that input data we can apply some sort of the transformations and all the techniques. Now, if you consider in the beginning of the session also, we have seen that to create the data frame, I am having plenty of opportunities. In terms of the Spark session, I am having create data frame. Just have a look on this, guys. It is helping us, and I'm just giving the list data, and thereafter, okay, I want to publish the results also. Now, this is the first data frame we are seeing just after construction from the list. Now you see here, guys, just a nice tabular representation where it is giving the information about column 1 and as well as the column 2. Uh, Here the consideration is, friends, just the create data frame automatically formats the data in the row and column wise fashion. From the list, now if you are making use of this kind of the convention, sometimes, guys, we don't want to store the data. Rather, what we want to do is we want to on the fly or dynamically, I want to create the data frame and I want to store the data. We are not storing the data frame anywhere. But whereas it is always a practice to store the data frame, okay, just by assigning that thing, and thereafter create data frame, just you send the list information. Now you see, so just it is not going to give anything, just it is a execution aspect, and then just you get into the data frame one, which is a data frame, and to print or to display the appropriate data frame content, you can use the show. So just it is giving all the conventions, but we are claiming that data frame gives the names of the columns also. Okay, so here, though it is specifying string and as well as the big integer kind of thing, we are not sure that what is this one and as well as the two. So they are definitely the default column names given by the Spark to this data frame created by us. But our worry here is, guys, uh, just I need to have a proper naming convention. At the moment, if I am sharing something with my teammates, they should be able to identify what is my schema and how I am working with that particular schema. So for that particular, guys, a typical declaration is like this. So I am taking this Spark, create a data frame, just we are making use of the list. And then the other parameter is schema, guys, actually schema. So just you can mention the name of the person and as well as the experience of the person. Now, with a little change, you can observe what distinction we can see in terms of our data frame. If you observe this kind of thing, just it has given the name and experience. But whereas in this example, it has roughly given the some sort of automate of the names is possible here. Okay, like one, two, some default column names were assigned by the Spark. But whereas if you are very clear about your schema, then it is assigning that particular schema information. So if you want to see the schema details of the data frame, just I'm having the convention of print schema. So most flexible and common way of using this data frame or identifying the data frame schema is print schema. Just it is giving the name, experience along with certain associated data types. And of course, just if I'm getting into the showing of the data frame, obviously it is giving name, experience, and the corresponding person's information. Okay, so this is a pretty simple and straightforward. And as the discussion is going ahead, just we frequently use some bulk data, and we try to prefer loading the CSV files or and other text files or JSON or Parquet, all these kind of the conventions. But however, except that loading process, remaining print schema showing and applicability of the logic pretty common. Okay, but to see the in and out of this particular data frame, it is always good to create the data frame initially, and then we are going to work out the aspects. Now, the other way, most frequently used kind of the construct is the dictionary. Friends, here, the dictionary data structure, what it does is, so this particular dictionary basically treats the data in key value pairs actually. So the key and the corresponding value. So this particular dictionary is more flexible compared with the list. Reason behind is just I can able to specify the key and as well as the value kind of the convention, then without explicitly mentioning the schema information. So one of the byproduct of using the dictionary to create the data frame is this dictionary automates the schema specification. However, you are giving the key and you are mentioning that value kind of the specification, then obviously just it is pulling that particular schema from the definition of the dictionary. Now let us try to give that dictionary kind of the definition, guys. So dictionary one, just I am taking this thing and I'm placing multiple values here. So just I'm taking the name, and along with the name, just I'm giving some name of the person. So just I'm mentioning this thing, and then I want to add the qualification details, maybe for the sake of SMEs or for the sake of domain experts, they may be seeing some kind of the qualification, the clients. And in fact, Databricks is the like that only, guys. Okay. And then experience. So just you can mention this kind of the experience. Okay. And just to observe, guys, here the formatting. Okay. So while dealing with these kind of the narrations, always prefer to give the even in struct type also I'll show that multiple rows will be there to avoid the syntax errors or typos. Just you neatly narrate the thing, and one more important thing is by looking at the way the programmer write the corresponding data shows that or corresponding way how he gives the appropriate naming conventions, and as well as the way he write the code, he manage the code, shows that the expertise of the corresponding member. Okay, so in a way, just following up the formatting and neat readability is one of the best practice, of course. So accordingly, you can observe the convention. So just we are having some kind of the data with us. Uh, and thereafter, just you see that here the clarity is uh, within this first component, I'm having the name, qualification, and experience of the person. And the second component also, I'm having the details. So first I'm separating like this. Maybe you can do like this also, so that it is little bit clear, like beginning and as well as the ending of this particular combination. Okay, now you observe this notion, and if you are printing this D1 individually, just it is tagging the information, whatever the name, qualification, experience, all these kind of the things. Now our aim is not to study the data structures of the Python, but how do we convert that particular data structure into our data frame? Okay, so far we have seen df2 now. Okay, now so that you also have if you are giving the number, that shows that these many ways we can create the data frame. This is the third way actually. First way we have seen without giving any name. Uh, Second type we have seen, I mean, not name in the sense without schema. Second way is along with the list we have given the schema. Third thing is okay, of course, in all these things we have used the Spark create data frame only. Okay, now here also the third way, just I am using the Spark session, and I am taking the create data frame, and just I am mentioning the D1. Okay, because the dictionary one I am giving. Now you see here, guys. So just if I am making use of the convention, experience, name, and qualification, you know that dictionary no, won't follow any indexing or order of the corresponding things. Okay, so df3, just if I want to show the convention, then obviously it gives the neat specification. Okay, it is automatically taking the column names as a schema, and along with that convention, it is providing the details. Okay, so in terms of the list, whatever the display I'm having, which is similar to a dictionary also, that is the look and feel, the ambience, whatever I'm talking about is similar, guys. Once you are familiar with this data frame activities, you can leverage up to any extent. That is the advantage of the Spark. Okay, and moreover, uh, why we are focusing on the detailed understanding is once your foundations are strong, once your starting point is strong, solid foundation automatically helps you to go to any extent or advanced learning. So if your foundation knowledge is not strong, then on top of that thing, if you are learning also, you may not, of course, yourself you can survive, but only the thing is at the moment you are given to lead a team or you are asked to handle a project, then these pitfalls come into the picture. If you are having the strong foundation of the technology and how this particular technology is functioning, then you are able to defend or you are able to guide the other members also. And I am seeing you in that position, guys. I am not thinking you are a junior or senior or whichever, but I want you to become a leader kind of thing. So if I'm allocating some team to you, if your project manager allocates some team to you, then how do you handle them? Okay, so maybe plenty of juniors we are recruiting and we are taking into our thing. And you know one thing, how many members are there in the as of now on roles? We need double the members because our we are growing and our projects are also exploring more. Okay, so the reason is we are really aggressively we are going and our clients are so happy and we need to get around 1,500 members more than to achieve the requirements of the clients and to achieve this particular functionality. So you will be getting the opportunities to work with juniors and to lead the teams, all these kind of the conventions. So only the important point is your readiness, how we are making use of the opportunities and how we are ready, all these kind of the conventions, right? Okay, so now just this particular point, we have seen the list based kind of the construct, and then we have seen the data frame orientation, this dictionary also. But we should see that how the RDD based kind of the data frame is working, because this is quite interesting, guys. uh, List already we are knowing, and dictionary also we know. Simply what we are doing is just we are sending the list parameter or dictionary parameter to this create data frame. Then it is taking care about the creation. But in terms of the RDD, there is a typical specifications, guys, in terms of the RDD. Let me show you that. Just I am making use of this RDD. Whenever I am talking about the RDD, I should give the Spark context, and I am making use of this parallelize method, and I can give the list directly because my list is containing the information about some sort of the data, like so just I have created a list long back, and this LST is containing the information, and I want to pick this particular data, and I want to send this data to my RDD. Okay, that's what I am doing. So now RDD has been created, and now I want to see what exactly that data exists. And generally, guys, in RDD orientation, we use a collect or take method. Can someone give the distinction between collect versus take, guys, in terms of RDD? Okay, just to use the chat window. Collect versus take. Okay, because most of the cases we are getting these kind of the things. Collect versus take. Just to share your thoughts on that. And now, if you are referencing this RDD friend, just it is reflecting whatever the functionality we expected as per norms. Okay. Now this a data frame, what I am doing here is I want to create the data frame on top of the RDD. Okay, this is probably the DF3 fourth type. So DF4, what I am doing here is, guys, just I am making use of convention Spark session. and I am creating the data frame, and I am mentioning the data. See, this is the standardization actually. So first we have not mentioned anything as a parameter. Second thing is we mentioned along with the list the schema information, and in the dictionary itself is providing some schema orientation. Okay, so that is one more important thing we have to observe. My data is available in RDD, and I'm giving the second thing as a schema, and this particular schema is giving some sort of the information, like I am taking the name. But one of the important thing guys, we have to specify the data type also guys. Okay, in case of the RTD, remember that point. Just I'm referring to other cell. If you consider this kind of the thing, your list, and as well as I am only providing the names of the columns. I'm only providing the names of the columns. But whereas at the moment I'm making use of the RDD, I should mention, okay, along with the corresponding names, I'm mentioning the data type also. And one more important point, under the same inclusion, I am covering both data types and as well as the name of the columns and as well as the data type information. Okay, so that is what the distinction. Maybe sometimes, in the questionnaire, okay, you may get the syntax to create a data frame with list. Okay, just you can mention only the names of the columns individually by separating the colons, comma based. Whereas in terms of the RDD, what you can do is as it is, you can represent the data as a first argument. Your schema representation is distinct. Just what we are doing is just we are mentioning under the single quote. Just we are maintaining the cases, name, age, all these kind of the conventions. Now I'm running through. This is the fourth methodology. Mm, what happened guys? Syntax error. Okay. So just I need to specify. Yeah, I have to separate now. Otherwise it is taking entire things as it is. Okay, now you observe guys here. So just I am making use of the name and as well as the age. So if you little go back and if you see the same kind of the convention name and as well as the experience. Whatever the functionalities we are using, after applying that particular functionality, data frame becomes one unified object. So no matter whether I'm using the list or dictionary or whichever, so it becomes a unified kind of thing. And apart from those kind of the conventions, now you can test the schema orientation, print schema. It's pretty simple, like it is giving the same kind of the convention. And of course, your show method also nothing distinct. So as it easily we are getting the name and age of the persons. Okay. So up to this particular convention, your RDD orientation, just we have created that RDD with the Spark context, and we are using our habituated thing. Can someone help me? How many ways RDD can be created, guys? Just as a kind of thing. Let me see. I got
Three ways,
some
sir. From
mm,
parallelize and from
parallelize, and
then from a text file or any kind of file,
ah
and from the existing identity.
exactly, exactly. Like parallelize is a method which is supporting us in terms of picking up of the data. And in the second format, guys, actually we are applying some range function. And third thing is from the existing RDD also we can pick up that thing. Now, okay, so many things. Very good, Surendra. Bharadwaj, Monu, Tahu is a long answer. Like in university exams. Jatin, very good. Elias, Shanmuga, Vedant, Ravi, and Shahrukh, Kannan. These are all my regular members. And one day I'll pick up the persons who are not at all giving the consent. Okay, like who are they? Almost all members are giving, like Seshikant and all. I want to interact with you guys also because you're all my friends, na? So definitely I bring you to the explanations and all. Okay, that is the reason, guys. Okay, um, so to by reaching each and every member, okay, I can pick up one important point in you so that you will be guided accordingly. Okay, now I can ask Shanmuga to give presentations because Shanmuga is having all the capabilities to build and all. Akhil, so just for the sake of 5 to 10 minutes narration, I can pick up Akhil. Whereas Nisha, Nisha need to improve. Like, so as I said, she has to focus on the things, but the way he talks is definitely with the examples, with the detailed notations, with statistical things, all those things. Okay. So each member is having the potential, guys. But only the thing is we need to give the avenues and we have to empower them to the suitable position. That is only the talent. Okay, right. So now with this, just we have seen the usage of the list, dictionary, RDD orientation. Now there is one more possibility, guys. Actually, like with the help of the row. Okay, so let me show you how do we refer these kind of the things. Row is not directly available for the Spark implementation. So for that particular purpose, what we are doing is uh, we are importing that PySpark, and within that SQL we are having import row. Okay. Now with this particular thing again, though I'm using the row, but that particular row is going to reflect into RDD only. I'll show you that how to achieve that particular convention. Now I am adding one more cell here, guys. If I am making use of df4 dot collect, you can easily observe. You can easily observe that there is a internal mechanism. Okay, so can you go on mute, guys? If you are not having any doubt. Sasikant, any doubt? Okay. So if you are referencing,
sir.
guys, yeah, Sasikant, because you are unmuted. Okay, I called your name, na? So
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, Shashikant, yeah. Yeah, thank you. So if you are referencing this point, guys, I can show you like rather than using df4.show to display the records, to display the data, friends here see, I'm using the collect method. Your collect method here itself, you can realize what difference they are making actually, though they are printing the details, but still with the collect method, I can able to see the internal details. It is showing like row of this thing and something like that. So there is a row kind of the specification. Ultimately, if you observe, guys, in RDD orientation also, like if you go back and observe your RDD collect, and it is also showing something in the same genre. Now, if you want to create your data frame with the help of the row, definitely, guys, this is a case we won't use much. Okay, but still we have to observe that how the data frame is flexible with the low level functionalities also. So that is the aim, because with all this list, dictionary, and as well as the other kind of the consideration like pandas, we can pretty know that our data frame is performing well. But with how we are performing with the low level functionality, see, individually you are very good. You are real team player in the project. But at the moment I am assigning some junior members or interns to you, then how we are extracting and how we are empowering those guys really matters. Because individually you are excellent resource, but you should not stop that there. Na? We are expecting more productivity so that your talent and your subject should inspire other members also. And so obviously, in what way you are dealing with the less experience and less skill people. Okay, so similarly here the data frame, it's not only giving the scope for the high level functionality, but it also giving the avenues for the low level aspects like RDD and as well as the row. And if I'm talking about the low level, definitely I have to use the Spark context, and we are parallelizing. And now there is a functionality guys here. Just I am making use of the row. Just within this particular row, I can mention the name. Okay, as a key value pair kind of thing, something similar to that. And once this particular thing is over, after that we are mentioning the designation. Okay, so just we are making use of ML engineer like that. And once this is over, just I want to give one more row. So just I am making use of the name and Seshi, and thereafter uh, just we are making use of designation where it is a DE. Okay, DE developer or something like that. Okay, so if you are making use of this convention, guys, this is first row where we want to give some kind of the information, and the second row the same kind of the aspect. Uh, After completion of this particular thing, just I want to store this convention into the RDD. The entire thing I want to store into the RDD because the rows are closely related to the RDD, and you can realize that with the help of the Spark context, we are making use of the convention of that parallelize method on top of the Spark context. Obviously, the return type of that thing is the RDD, so that we are pointing to that object. Now, if you are giving the convention and then RDD, just I want to collect the information. Now you see guys, very much similar aspect. Now, if you go little up, if I'm showing this df4 dot collect, I have seen this row with corresponding name and age. Now also, if you consider, this is giving us some sort of the same row and row wise collection. So here, this particular row is the internal mechanism of the RDD. So directly I can assign the row wise specification of the data into my RDD. Okay, likewise, you can perform the activity. But our intention is I need to convert this RDD into my data frame. So probably this is the fifth type. So fifth type of the data frame. Just what we can do is spark dot. Just I'm using the same statement. Now my data is RDD1. Okay, at the moment I give this particular kind of the convention, I'm getting the information like name and designation. As a row is supporting, as your row is supporting is a key value kind of the aspects where simply how we have enjoyed the benefits of the dictionary in the creation of the data frame. In the similar way, we are managing the convention related to the row also. Okay, so now it is pretty easy for us to get the print schema. Uh, we are happy with this, and then we are making use of this show. Just obviously it gives the kind of the convention. Okay, like this. But if I am asking to collect the data, uh, then you see here. Okay, just it is opening up with the low level functionalities. Okay, no matter whether I'm using the RDD internally or row internally, but at the moment I am giving the collect method, obviously it is showing up some sort of the row based aspect. Okay, so this is how you can specify the advantage of this using the row. Uh, and moreover, let me see, I can get some help related to the row the parallelize function actually. So, and whereas if you are distribute a local Python collection and if you are referencing the parallelize and as well as the row is a kind of the construct where I can specify some sort of the functionalities related to that. And in this example, I want to mention some details about the name designation of the employees in our company. So just I can able to create this row based representation. Okay. So this is how we are handling the convention of high level and as well as the low level. So some high level functionalities we have seen like with the list and as well as with the dictionary we can able to specify. Whereas just now we have seen some low level functionalities like initially we have seen RTD and now we were able to talk about the row also. Now the point is we have seen that pandas also having the data frame. So pandas also, because the members who are having the idea about the uh, Python, they pretty know that what exactly the NumPy and as well as the pandas. So friends, here to give a glance, this particular NumPy, as the name implies, is a numerical Python. Okay, numerical Python, so as to handle all the stat based aspects or mathematical kind of the functionalities, you can able to use with the help of the numerical Python, you can perform the activities like mean value, minimum, maximum, cosine function, square root, power. Like that, we're having certain mathematical functions. So just by importing the numerical Python, one can have that particular performance. Whereas if I'm talking about the pandas, okay, pandas basically allows us to perform the analysis on the data. Okay, data analysis package. This is pandas. Actually, this particular analysis can be done with the series or else the data frames. Okay, so they're all nothing but the storage classes, friends, I can say. In terms of the series, whatever the data you are giving, automatically the data is assigned with the index. So that is the advantage of the series. Whereas if I am talking about the normal data structures like list or dictionary or whatever, there is no default serial number allocation, all these kind of the convention. Whereas if I am talking about the series, just I am having some data and that particular data has been assigned with the default serial number like that. Okay, some kind of the locations. Whereas your data frame is already we know that data frame is a table kind of the structure where it is having low row and column wise fashion information. So based on that particular convention, we are going to talk about how to create a data frame of the Spark with the help of the pandas data frame. For that guys, just I am importing pandas and moreover I am giving this alias name rather than every time referring pandas, just I am aliasing that particular name, which is quite common, right? Okay, just we create the data and what we are doing is just I am creating this particular data. Okay, and I'm making use of some information and similarly I am taking the information of our friends also from the database. Okay, and then Dasarath. Okay, so uh, I'm giving this a name, number. Okay, and maybe employee ID or something. Now I want to pick up this particular data. Okay, just I want to pick up that particular data. And once this particular convention is over, guys, um, this is the sixth thing. Na? So far, 5 data frames are completed. Have a look on this, guys. DF6 to notify easily. Just I'm giving the naming of that thing. What I'm doing is now there is a clause here actually. I'm completely working with the pandas data frame so that what I'm doing here is PD, which is the pandas. If I am giving the tab, okay, just I'm getting tons of these I mean sessions. Okay, now what I want to do is here there is one class called data frame. Okay, not create data frame, but data frame. What I'm doing, I have created some data here. Okay, so some data and here the other information is columns actually. Okay, so there is a distinction, guys, simple distinction. I'll talk about that. Like initially in the Spark data frame, we are having the data set. Maybe the data set is a list or the data set might be the dictionary, that might be the RDD, whichever. And the second parameter is your schema actually. That schema is helping us so as to notify like I'm using these names of the columns along with the data structure. That thing we observed. But whereas in the pandas data frame, we are having the convention of creation of that particular data frame with the help of the pandas module, and pd dot, just we have created some alias name related to that particular pandas, and that pandas alias helps us to create the data frame, but not with the create data frame, but with the data frame. Okay, that is the method. And with respect to this particular method, I can give you some narration here, like two-dimensional, size mutable, potentially heterogeneous tabular data. And this data structure also contain label access, rows and column. As I said earlier, is a access by default added with the pandas, and it is arithmetic operation align on both row and column labels. I can add the row wise data and column wise data, that is flexible. Can be thought of as a dictionary like container for series object. You see, on top of the series, just we are making use of the dictionary, the primary pandas data structure. Because in terms of the numpy, how we are having the array kind of the support. Similarly, we are having the pandas data structure. I'll be sharing NumPy and Pandas discussion recorded versions to you guys, because if any, but I strongly recommend you guys just this weekend just to spend half an hour to 45 minutes to go through the NumPy and Pandas. There I explained all the examples and all the studies. And if you guys are having the knowledge on Python, it is good. Okay. But still, if you want to recap those kind of the things, I recommend you guys definitely go and have a look on that NumPy and Pandas discussion. Right. Okay. Now, rather than mentioning the schema, I'm giving the columns information. Columns also, how do I mention? Because my data is containing definitely name, and after the name, I'm mentioning the employee ID, like these two aspects I'm giving. Now the point here, guys, suppose if I'm getting the uh, type of this DF6 pandas, this is a panda score frame, data frame. Whereas if I'm getting the type of this DF5, let me show you that type of DF5. Just we'll be getting the PySpark SQL data frame dot data frame. Okay, let me post that in the chat. So, and comment, I'm expecting some sort of understanding from that. So that which leads to some discussion, guys. Absentees and all, I'll talk, friend, because I need attentiveness in the sessions. It's not the optional kind of thing. Okay, you cannot do all those nonsense in my session. Okay, while seeing 29, 31, 32 sometimes and 27, why you are logging off, guys? Okay, so don't log off. If you are having any work, just to inform to the organizer and you take that and go back and see the recording. In between, don't come to the sessions. This is one thing. And another, just now we have seen a pandas based kind of thing. Let me pull that particular image also for you. So there is a clear distinction, guys, like, whatever the functionality related to the pandas, just I can make use of the convention. And then once this thing is over, uh, like I can see that this pandas based kind of the convention, pandas.core.frame.data frame. And here it is something like data 5 or D5. Okay, so just we have seen somewhere which has given spark dot. Okay, so spark dot core dot. So just it has given some sort of data frame related to the spark. Now as a task, just I am asking you guys just to see that pandas df versus um, spark df. Okay, so this is one task, just you can have a look on that. Now we are into this df6. Okay, pandas. Now I'm trying to apply the show method, guys, actually. Okay, there is no show method. A typical data frame is having the show method, but at the moment I am trying, there is no show method actually, if you observe, because this is purely a pandas based data frame. Directly I can refer to the object. So you will be getting this thing. Friend, there is a clear distinction related to the pandas data frame. Now let me show you how our Spark data frame looks like. So for the same thing, I'm creating the Spark based kind of the data frame. Now what I want to do is Spark. Now, as usual, we are having the create data frame data. OK, just I am sending this argument pandas thing to this kind of the convention. Now you see, now if I am attempting, OK, if I am attempting df6 Spark, I can see the show method guys here. OK, just if I'm putting the tab kind of thing, many are there. Along with that particular thing, I'm having some show method also. OK, see here. So the distinction, one of the distinction guys. OK, so like directly I can make use of this convention. I can make use of this thing. And if you see the pandas based kind of the aspect, I'm having this notion. OK, I'm having this notion, and this is the display way of the display. You can easily say that by just seeing this outcome also, you can say that, oh, I'm using pandas data frame. But whereas here you are using the Spark based data frame. Like that, OK, there are certain distinctions where without mentioning the schema explicitly, and just I am displaying my pandas based data frame, whereas this is the Spark based data frame. Likewise, that is the convention how you can make use. Apart from that, we have seen some other functionality guys, like, if you remember 2DF kind of aspect also we have seen. OK, two data frame. Uh, Here I'm trying to give some narration guys. Just I'm making use of the project details as a pre-project kind of the information. I'm having some kind of the genres where we are having the capability. So data engineering. And second thing is just I'm having the data science capabilities in my team. Along with that, we're having the third aspect, uh, Hadoop capabilities also we're having in our company. And next is the Spark based. OK, Spark based. If you are referencing this thing, just I have created one kind of the information where it is pertaining to project ID and project name. Now I'm creating some RDD. OK, I'm creating some RDD. RDD means Spark context. Just I'm parallelizing the things by sending this project data. OK, like that. And RDD2, just I'm collecting the data. Just you can observe that, OK, this is having some information. Now, with this, I want to construct my data frame. So how many data frame types? OK, DF7 now. So DF7, what we're doing guys here. OK, my DF7 is RDD2 I'm making, and directly I'm having the support of 2DF. OK, 2DF. And my first method is schema. Actually, I'm having the schema as the parameter. Just I'm mentioning project ID and as well as technology. Technology stack I'm having, or else simply tech like that we are taking. OK, so with this, just I can run this. OK, and now see here, guys, project ID and technology, and simply I can print this particular schema. Just I'm having this particular schema information. After that, I can able to show the data. OK, this way. So the 2DF functionality is typical. This, guys, converts current RDD into a data frame, two data frame. One simple thing, guys. Maybe our Earlier team would have used the RDD. Now we want to upgrade that RDD into the data frame. Already content is there, already source data is there. Our interest is to, on top of the low level API, I want to construct the high level API. For that particular thing, this 2DF is quite handy. Okay, so just whatever the RDD orientation I'm having, just we are getting the convention. Now you observe this thing. This is a shorthand for spark.create data frame. Yeah, this is alternative. Actually, in terms of the spark.create data frame, what we are doing, we are mentioning the RDD along with the schema and ratios, all these kind of the conventions. Okay, so observe guys here, just I'm mentioning this aspect where I am processing the details related to the convention. Let me see. Yeah, Jatin says Spark data frame are immutable while Pandas data frames are mutable. Okay. Because in Spark, there is a specification, guys. No matter whether I'm using the RDD or whether I'm using the data frame, in all these kind of the conventions, there is hardly a transformation. We cannot change that particular convention. That is one important thing we have to observe. Now, the process here is the 2DF is really helpful to us whenever there is a notion of multiple RDDs are available in our data structures so far created by our team. We want to make use of those data structures for further. Then you can have a look on that observation of those kind of the things. Okay, this is how you mention or how you proceed with the understanding of data frame orientation. Right now, in the other way around, rather than using the 2DF, let me venture that point also, because in that syntax it has been mentioned that alternative for that. Let us see. I'm having the new way of creating that without using 2DF. I'm having this create data frame. What is my RDD guys here? RDD2. Just I'm mentioning that as a first argument. And then I am making use of my schema. Okay. The schema as usual in terms of this thing we know project ID and as well as the technology stack. Now this is the another way of handling the things with respect to the RDD orientation. Just where df8 show. Okay, so and then you can see that what exactly the outcome of this thing. Similar, whatever the way we are getting the convention of this thing, and as it is, we are maintaining the same. Okay, so this is the way how you can mention the 2DF kind of the functionality or else create data frame. Both are dependent on the RDD only. Based on that particular access, you can prefer. So total 8 different methods. In fact, 9 friends actually, because the data frame with pandas we have seen, the data frame with the Spark also we have seen. Total 9 different methods we have seen so far. Now, whatever I am introducing as a 10th method, most important and most useful method, guys. Okay, like this is like as I said now in the earlier session also, there are construct called struct type actually. So this particular struct type which helps us to create our own schema orientation rather than explicitly mentioning the string or long or something like that. What we are doing is just we are making use of the convention of the struct type. For this particular purpose, guys, there are some predefined aspects where I can import into my session. Okay, just have a look on this, guys. From just I am using the PySpark. There is of course see how importance we are giving to this SQL, and then we are having the types. Types means here data types. Now I am importing various things, guys. Like I'm having the see many things are there. I am importing the struct type. Along with that, I am importing the struct field. I am importing the string type. Okay, I am importing the integer type because for my current application, I'm having these many data types: integer type, string type, struct field, struct type. Okay, now once this particular thing is over, what I am doing here is let me make use of these particular data items to create the schema. Actually, my intention here is, guys, just on top of my existing RDD, I want to perform some kind of the activity. Now, let me show what exactly my RDD is containing. Uh, this RDD consists of ID and as well as the data engineering capabilities. So maybe it is project ID and as well as the domain of that particular project or technology of the project. For this particular purpose, guys, I am creating a project schema. Okay, so be with me, guys. Just we are making use of the struct type actually, and just I am starting to create fields, each field. So here I am having the struct field. With respect to this particular field, my first field is project ID, and then we are mentioning this thing as the integer type. Okay, it is supporting us by giving the IntelliSense. Once this field is over, again we are creating the next thing, struct field. Now this is the technology stack we are having, and then I'm having the string type of the data. So string type. Okay, just to give that particular convention. Now, guys, just if you are making use of this project schema, if you are not aware of what exactly that data type and all, these particular integer type, string type, struct type, and struct field helps you. This is another way, actually, another way of creating the constructs. Okay, rather than dependent on the existing schema, if you want to compose, if you want to stick on to your way of doing the things. Just we are having the process schema. Friends, see here what mistake I have made. String. Oh, sorry, it's not the string type, guys. Struct type actually. String type is hardly a data type. Okay, we should not use that. Structure declaration. That's what it is not allowing us. So if you are referencing the next kind of the data frame, what is the latest we have used? DF8. Now what I'm doing here is, guys, ninth way of creating. Just I am assigning this thing Spark, same create data frame. Now RDD2. Just recently we have created the schema. Na? This is another way of creating the schema. My project schema. Project schema. Okay, nice. Now DF9 show. Just it is as it is normal data frame, and DF9 dot just I am using the print schema details. It gives like that. Okay, so this way, guys, this is a another most commonly used kind of the constructs related to the struct type and all. Let me see whether IntelliSense I can get. Yeah. So observe here, guys. Struct type consisting of list of struct field. Of course, in fact we have created this. This is a data type representing a row. Friends, directly or indirectly, we are referring to that row, no matter whether I am using the data frame from the list, data frame from the dictionary. At the moment I am giving the collect method, I can realize that. Apart from that kind of the convention, explicitly I can create a row wise data while creating the data frame. That also we have seen. Now what it does is whenever you are making use of this struct field kind of the aspect, it is basically representing the row wise representation, and iterating a struct type will iterate over it, and it is having the struct field because this particular struct field is used to create the corresponding field name along with the data type. Now, as I said, friends, just to have a look on these kind of the functionality, um, where these are all the examples, string type, character type, varchar type, many are there, guys. Okay, so just we have seen only integer type and string type. Apart from that, you can work with varchar and char also. Okay, so that is one more convention. So with this, just we can have a look on whatever the ways we have created our data frames. Okay, so just if I am making use of the convention, like friends, let us see how many ways we have done our work. to create this data frame orientation. I can divide these kind of things into the RDD based. Okay, and as well as your high level functionality, maybe create data frame based. So just if you are making use of the convention of RDD, there are certain aspects where from RDD we have created, and with the help of the 2DF we have created, and plenty of these things we're having a list, and as well as the dictionary, and then we are having some sort of other things like schema based, uh, and thereafter we have created with the row, and then the other things, friends, like struct type. Apart from those kind of the conventions, yeah, with the help of the pandas, data frame also we have created like that. Some other genres are also there, where in the next session definitely, because today just you practice all these kind of the conventions, whatever the methodologies we're having, whereas user based request based on the user's requirement, he can able to construct the things. Now with this, just I'm moving ahead with the certification discussion. Earlier we have completed some sort of the questions related to our Spark practice. Now the another question, friends, maybe little we are jumping here and there, but it's okay. Up to 2 or 3 minutes, you may be in that mode. But once it is over, just we can get back. Uh, if you are considering this particular question, this is something like out of error. Sorry guys, let me share the screen. I was in that thing only. In the yes. Um, yes. Okay. So if you observe this point, guys, which of the following describes out of memory errors in Spark? Because this, as I said, friends, though you are practicing Spark or machine learning or whichever, at the end of this particular thing, you should aware of the little bit operating system and network or databases kind of the functionality. Because friends, whatever the technology or advancements we are talking, they should not deviate the fundamental aspects of our principles of operating system, databases, networks, all these things. Okay. Now, if I'm making use of this statement, which of the following describes out of memory errors in Spark? We'll start with the first thing. You also share your thoughts, guys. An out of memory error occurs when either the driver or an executor. Actually, if you go back, simply we are having the Spark driver and as well as the executor. Only these two are the components where there is an effect on the memory, because Spark driver is a launchpad to submit the job to the executors. Executor responsibility is to allocate the resources in the form of the slots where the tasks are going to execute. This is the functionality. Now, an out of memory error occurs when either the driver or executor does not have enough memory to collect or process the data allocated to it. Collect the data, process the data, making some sense, guys. Okay, we cannot say this is the answer, but of course, it is not giving any nonsense, or it is not giving any ambiguity to us. We'll keep aside. We'll keep aside this particular answer. Now, second thing is an out of memory error occurs when Spark storage level is too lenient and allows data objects to be cached to both memory and disk. Uh, See, it is all not the storage levels perspective, guys, because user pretty know that which are all the RDDs you want to persist. At the same time, there is a trade-off between persist and as well as the performance. Okay, so out of memory error may not be caused by these things, guys, because storage level, purely dependent on your whether you are importing that storage level. Earlier in the earlier session also, while dealing with the persistent as well as the caching mechanism, we have observed that Caching is possible by default also, where there we can see the memory only. But at times, if I want to perform the activity of storage and as well as the storage level along with the memory oriented and as well as the disk based kind of thing, I can specify memory and disk kind of the aspects. Okay. So with this guys, one can easily refer that intentionally no user is ready to push this particular spark into the out of memory kind of thing. So it is somewhat different and creating the ambiguity. Okay, that we are against to this thing actually. And then an out of memory error occurs when there are more tasks than are executed regardless of the number of worker nodes. One point I referred guys actually. If more or less, if these kind of the things, try to eliminate them. Okay, upfront, no doubt about that, because simply, whatever the functionalities we're having, those kind of the functionalities, friends, more or less, more number of the slots compared with the tasks, or more number of the tasks, less number of the tasks compared with that makes no sense actually, because just by mapping the number of slots and number of tasks, Spark is not going to work out. So here, similarly, number of worker nodes and more than task, just to remove that point. Okay, at this juncture, and I promised you, if any such kind of the numbers are really playing a vital role, I'll bring to your notice so that you can keep an eye on that. So if any question related to that particular portion, you can proudly answer without any deviation. We can confidently put that mark. An out of memory error occurs when the Spark application calls too many transformations in a row without calling an action, regardless of size of the data object on which the transformations are. This is nonsense actually. It's a big nonsense, na? Because that is our wish. It's not like that you need to call only 2 times transformation, 1 time action. Friends, if any such restriction is there, that is a failure model. Maybe Spark or Hadoop. If I am putting some restriction on top of the developer or programmer, you cannot call this transformation twice or thrice. It's a failure model. There is a limitation itself. If I am saying the transformations cannot be called more than 5 times or more than 3 times, then is a quite distinct method. Okay, so we have to be cautious about that. Okay, this is definitely not. An out of memory error occurs when too much data is allocated to the driver for computational purpose. Friends, can we allocate any computing for the driver guys? Who really does the computing actually? Who is doing your computing? Can someone help me? Who is doing the computing? Computing is done by
Executor.
executor. Okay, because executor is the thing which is accepting the information from the Spark driver. And of course, after completion of this particular task, executor is returning back the results to the Spark driver. And Spark driver never involved in the computing. Computing process is not the responsibility of the Spark driver. Friend. Spark driver hardly picks up the information, receives the job, perform the and forward the same thing to the executors actually, and it is the executor responsibility so as to perform the logics and implement the things and finally getting back the results to the Spark driver. Okay, just be cautious guys while making use of that's what though it is a kind of iteration talking about the Spark architecture, it is mandatory. Of course we have to be like that only because many questions are coming out from that Spark driver, cluster manager, executor, worker node, slots. Apart from those kind of the conventions, we are having the jobs, stages, and as well as the tasks. Okay, so this is how you are making use of the convention like in the architecture itself, we are having many kind of the components. Only the thing is we have to observe in what way we are reaching the understanding and how the real processing is done by our Spark engine. Okay, so now obviously guys, out of these particular 5, we are committed to this particular A, but we are not in a hurry. Definitely we need to see the solution. Yes, we got the solution here. Let me paste. Okay, whatever the compilation I have done for us. Yes. Okay. An out of memory error occurs when either the driver or an executor does not have enough memory to collect or process the data allocated to it. Collect in the sense, suppose if I submit some job to the driver, okay, because that is the main function, which is starting point and ending point. If you are keep on posting or keep on submitting the jobs, there may be a out of error. Otherwise, executors may reach to a saturation where there is no possibility of accommodating the tasks. Already slots were filled, but still we are striving for the additional amount of the memory where there is no chance of getting that. Okay, now again going back to the question, which of the following describes out of memory errors in Spark? An out of memory error occurs when either the driver or an executor doesn't have the enough memory to collect or process the data allocated to it. Let me see. Is there any additional comments I got? Okay. Kannan says, yeah, very good. Create data frame. You have to see Arul. Okay. You have to see that. And you should come back on that to me. You execute on the community edition. Just estimate the timing and then you come back to me. And one more important thing, create a data frame and 2DF. Always low level functionalities are giving the highest performance. No doubt about that, because they are very near to the memory. If you see the repartition and coalesce, they are having their own kind of the functionality, right? Okay. And Kannan, okay. Shanmuga says driver or executor don't have enough memory. Yeah, good option. Yeah. I'm sorry, E, na? Let me see that what exactly E. Maybe nearest answer also okay. Too much data is allocated to the driver for computer. Actually, that is the problem answer here. As I said, practically driver is not meant for the computational purpose, but rather the driver is something like which is giving us some sort of submission of the jobs. Okay. And I have given some this thing guys, actually the definitions of all these things. Let me, yeah. Let me paste this so that you can also have a look on that. No problem, but we have to give a try, na? Definitely. Right or wrong, leave it. But who tries to get to enter into that genre, appreciate. Okay. So this is one thing. And coming to the other question. Okay, this is pretty simple, guys. But there is a trick in that. Let me see how many of you are giving answer to me. There is a little trick, guys. Uh, just let me paste this thing. And many of members may not agree for answer also. Let us see how it goes. Okay. So this question puts some sort of storage level and all. Which of the following is the default storage level for persist for non-streaming data frame or data set? Non-streaming. If it is default RDD, you could have given the answer as memory only. But it's not the default RDD, but it is the default data frame. Default data frame. Data frame is a high level API. It's not the low level. If you are talking about the RDD low level kind of thing, the story is different. The story is different. Like RDD persist by default memory only. Even we have seen that point also. Now, if I am making use of this data frame, just if I want to perform some sort of the persist on top of the data frame for a non-streaming, streaming friends here, suppose I'm having some sort of the Spark streaming mechanism. Maybe individually we are having the API related to the Spark streaming, or else we are having the Spark with Kafka actually. Kafka really helps us to handle the streaming based services. Okay, those two aspects. And however, our question is pretty clear that it is not definitely the streaming. It is a non-streaming kind of thing. If I am making use of the non-streaming, and then what is the default storage level uh, for the persist of the data frame or data set? Any thoughts, guys? Maybe no problem. You can give a try because we are having memory and disk with serialization, disk only, memory only serialization, memory only. Actually, friends, can someone recollect what is the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth parameter? You can use the chat window because while dealing with or while solving some sort of the questions, we are striving for understanding the other aspects also. Uh, just you think through what comes to your mind. Very first thing is, of course, disk. Second thing is, of course, memory. Third aspect again, heap. Fourth is deserialization. What is the fifth thing, guys? Replication. Okay. Now, this much we know. This much we know. Like even question is not referring to true, false kind of thing. It is a direct question. In fact, it's a direct question. Now let me see any thoughts I got. Very good, Surendra and Vedant, Shanmuga and Elias. Okay. Yes, correct. Elias, good try. Someone has given correct answer actually. Nisha, very good. Nice. Any other? Yeah, these are all definitely these 5 points are correct actually. Disk and but now I am asking Nisha, why you are saying memory and disk? Is there any reason behind that?
Hi,
What
Vinod.
made you to
As you
answer that?
said, it's a API kind of processing will do by the data frame. So
Ah,
maybe it will use the disk to read and write.
excellent. Friends, here RDD a low level, and RDD is meant for simple data, simple kind of the data. Whereas if I'm talking about the data frame, probably we are working with any heavy data set, Friends, here by default, this heavy data sets or data frame, whatever we are working with, these things are pointing to a memory and disk, guys, actually. Memory and disk, because we cannot stick to the memory only, because data frame is some sort of high level functionality, whereas that particular high level functionality always working with the heavy amounts of the data. It always try for performing many, because just now we have seen how many ways you can create the data frame. Around 10 ways are there, but still some 5 or 6 ways are there related to CSV, Parquet, JSON, Avro. Okay, like that we're having all these kind of the conventions. So around 15 to 20 methods are there to just create the data frame. Now you can imagine how many ways you can play around the data frame. And probably the next week we are going to have all these ventures of column transformations, filters, and as well as the column renaming, all these kind of the conventions, friends. Okay, so definitely, as I am talking about the higher level of the orientation, just we are making use of both disk also into the picture. Okay, now let me reveal that answer so that we can also confirm that particular thing. Okay, right. Memory and disk. Let me come back to the question. Which of the following is the default storage level for persist for a non-streaming data frame or data set? Non-streaming solution, memory and as well as the disk. We'll do one more question, guys. Okay, we'll do one more question because we're having some time. Uh, Pretty simple question. Okay, we should get somewhat complex. Okay, no problem. So just let me ask you this question. Almost all members know this answer, guys. I'm pretty sure about that. Which of the following data structures are Spark data frames built on top of? Built on top of. Any explanation is required, guys, for this? Okay, in the beginning of the session, we have seen on top of the RDD, your data frame has been built. Now also we have seen internally row, and of course row is related to your RDD. If you are making use of the collect method automatically giving the row, and this particular row is referenced by the RDD, Spark Context Orientation. Okay, so which of the following data structures or Spark data frames are built on top of? Okay, as a general convention, we are not taking any chance, but still we are getting the solution. We are not going to overlook any kind of the topic. Just I'm pasting here for the future reference also, guys. Maybe 10 days after also you are opening this document. It should be very productive, guys. Okay, so and in one more thing, I want to make use of this specification. You're writing some documentation, guys. Maybe documentation is related to the projects, whatever the day-to-day activities we are doing, which are all the constructs we have used. Maybe lean coffee meetings or agile or sprint kind of things, whatever the observations you had, just to record everything. So if you go back after 1 week also, it should be very detailed and it should not create any ambiguous situation for you. Now the point is the way we are documenting the things is most important, guys. That's what I am asking you to prepare something and present. So it helps you. Okay. First thing is understanding the topic. Second thing is applicability of the topic and getting the results. That is your individual performance. Second thing is if I ask you to prepare something and present in front of some audience, how we are preparing and how we are exhibiting and how we are encouraging the audience to involve in your discussion, how we are encouraging the audience to ask the questions. That is the second thing. Third important thing is peer learning. Okay, peer learning. Maybe I can add you with some senior member and ask you to construct some kind of the capstone project. So you can learn from them and whatever the areas you are having strength, you can let the other people also get that particular benefit. So individual member assessment related to how we are answering the questions, how we are attentive, and how we are giving the presentation and your self preparation, all these things. Other than that, if I can add with some other senior members or seniors will be interacted with the juniors, so it creates some perfect balance of the projects, guys. So in a way, it gives some kind of the pleasure of learning and empowering yourself. At the same time, productivity is going to improve. So all these kind of the things are byproducts of this training, guys. Not only the functionalities. Are not only teaching all these kind of the things. Okay, now with one more question. Okay, just we can have a break. This is not exactly a question, friend. This is simple explanation because these are all around 17 or 18 questions we have discussed. Some are other way they were asked in the examinations, and this much preparation is required. Preparation, and apart from those kind of the conventions, I am giving you some other knowledge related to that thing. Describe the responsibility of the executors in Spark. Describe the responsibility of the executors in Spark. Uh, in a simple liner, guys. Okay, because this is quite connected with the this kind of the question. Actually, if you see this convention, where is that question, guys? Actually, yeah, this one. No, we have seen that point now where how the appropriate Spark driver. Okay, out of memory errors we have seen in that particular thing. Just if you are making use of, sorry, I need to paste here now. This is our 6th day session, but I have gone to first thing. Let me pick up this question, guys. Sorry for that. Okay, just let me paste into this. Okay, memory and disk. Now go back to first one. Paste here. 6th day, some kind of the solution. Memory and disk, and latest question, what is that? This thing. Yeah, this also we have seen. Yeah, we have moved to that, but we are on that page only. Okay, RDD. Let me paste in the today's thing. And then, yeah, making mistakes is definitely required, and you have to immediately identify. You have to observe that, okay, something has gone wrong. Okay, you need to have the potential of identifying the error also. Without that particular thing, guys, things miserably fails. Okay, so now the sixth one, uh, in terms of this where out of memory kind of the errors, where we are getting, because this is the way how we are making use of the convention. Like if driver is overloaded, or if the corresponding executors are overloaded, then we are getting the kind of the errors. Where if you are making use of the statement, if you are able to observe the real responsibility of the executors, then you can also it is easy to answer the appropriate aspects in a clear cut way. Now describe the responsibility of the executors in Spark. Responsibility of the executors. In a simple and straightforward thing, we got the answer, guys. Actually, the executors accept a task from the driver. Just it is expecting the work from the driver, execute those tasks, and return results to the driver. So just it is picking up the information from the driver, and then it is performing some kind of the execution, and again return back the results to the driver. Okay, so this is how you can perform the activity of understanding the executors. Okay, now we can break here, guys. But before that, let me come across with the next steps. Now Sahu is going to talk about after the break. He's going to talk about RDD create, access along with the transformations. Vedant is going to talk about RDD actions. Elias is going to talk about partitions along with repartition and coalesce properties. Okay, so let me paste that particular details so that you can also have some convention. 1 minute, guys, just a minute. So just I'm trying to pick up the details. Yes. Okay. And then giving you right. Yeah. Kannan says execute the work that the driver assigns to them. Nice. Very good, Vedant, for the confirmation. Nice. Okay. So
Excuse me, sir. So there is actually a call at 12:30. So will it be possible to that I present before the break, or how can we like figure it
yeah,
out?